All right, guys, welcome to the Ravit Show. We are live. If you are joining us, please let us know where you're joining from. And today we have a very special guest, Noah Sassaman from Datalytics, as my guest on the Ravit Show. In today's show, we will talk about his journey to empower 300 plus data analysts to spend 80% of their time analyzing analyzing data to solve business challenges rather than playing data fetch. A little about Noah. He's a senior analyst with over 15 years of experience analyzing and testing business requirements that drive deployment of producing applications, business processes, and system solutions. Noah's analytical mind and documented track record in full software development life cycle, which is the SDLC methodologies and agile techniques, make him a trust change agent and advisor to clients looking to build bridges across internal silos. So I think we're facing some issues with LinkedIn. Let me quickly check if we are okay. We are live on LinkedIn too. So for the audience, just to repeat that we have our special guest today. It's Noah Sassaman from Analytics. He's the director there. So we'll be talking a lot around advanced analytics, about the right tools, about his journey, about deep data analysis, and much more. So feel free to let us know where you're joining from. And also, very good news for everyone joining in. We are giving away an annual subscription of 365 Data Science today. So feel free to mention in the comments hashtag 365 Data Science, so we know that you are up for the raffle. Please let us know where you're joining from in the LinkedIn, from YouTube, or from Facebook. Okay, quickly sharing what you need to type in to enter the raffle. And this is what you need to type. It's hashtag 365 Data Science, and you'll be up for the raffle. All right. It's time we call our guest, and here I go. Hey, Noah, welcome to the Ravit Show. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
All good. Can't wait to hear your journey, obviously, about your analytics journey, about a very important topic, CDS, Citizen Data Scientist. And I know you have a lot to speak around that. So can't wait to hear those insights. And also, I was telling audience about your 30 plus years of experience and the wonders that you do in analytics field is outstanding. So thanks for uh, doing that for us. But to start with, obviously, Noah, say hello to our audience and share a bit about yourself, please.
Sure. What's happening, everybody? Excited to be here. I've been on this interesting journey to get to this point today, and I'm really happy to share it with everyone. I've been working with data and data related fields for 15 years in shipping, logistics, finance, insurance. They all use data. And my skill set, really, I come from mostly Excel and SQL background. I've held positions of business analyst, operations analyst, business informatics analyst, really everything within the whole analyst family. And as the years passed, did I find that this term analyst kind of became like lowly, or well, not really lowly, but lacking in a true identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
You meet people like, what do you do? Oh, I'm an analyst for a finance company, or I'm an analyst for a shipping company.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just sort of this black hole that it was really vague, and there's nothing really specific to it. So it was really this idea that was planted in my head, and I wasn't sure how to
Right.
address it, or even if it could be addressed. And really, that's sort of been my driving force over the last 8 to 10 years is how to elevate this. picture a restaurant, right? You have your dishwasher in the kitchen, you have your prep cook, you have a head cook or a head chef, and
Right.
the prep cook, right? They know the inner workings of everything. They know the importance of every ingredient, the amount needed for every night's service, how each ingredient should be prepared and presented for use. Maybe they're making full dishes that need to be
Mhm.
preheated prior to service, like soup or sauces or whatever. All of these
Right.
skills, minus the execution or the timing of putting the dishes together for service to get the orders out, right? And so when you talk to a prep cook, you may say, tell me about your job. Like, oh, I'm just a prep cook at this restaurant. But the reality is, right, they're such an integral part, and what they do is important to the final product. And
Right.
so one could argue back, right? Well, the chef should know how to do all that. They're running the show. And while that's true, it's not efficient, and it's not really a good use of their time or money to pay a chef to just do all the prep work for the dinner service. He needs to create new dishes. He needs to
Right.
make sure all the equipment is working adequately. So it's how can we elevate the prep cook when everyone is just focused on the rock star chef? And I feel that it's the same thing with the analyst community is how can we elevate the analyst when there's so much focus paid to the data scientist and the rock star nature of today's data scientists.
Wow, this is fantastic. And obviously, I know you're coming from a finance background, Noah. So how did all these things happen? Like, how did obviously, analytics kind of brought you in, and what was the driving force here?
Yeah, sure. So I actually started in logistics with a shipping company, and I drove for them for a bit, and then moved into data acquisition. And looking back at it now, it's funny. It's really a role that had me training their address machine learning tool, and I just didn't know it at the time. And this is a program that takes in all the package addresses and puts it into data and matches it in their database to the
Right.
actual addresses, right? So when you create a label and you put it on the package and you put it in their system, the data from that label gets sent to the facility where your package will eventually be delivered from, and that
Right.
data is put into their address learning system. And
Mm-hmm.
if it doesn't match, then it kicks it out, and there's someone who goes in and tries to
Mm-hmm.
match up that data. And so that was me, and so that was my first real experience with data and data cleansing and sort of training a machine learning tool
Right.
in a way, right? And I
Right.
realized that the more information I was able to put into the tool, the
Mm-hmm.
more it would learn and the less that I would have to do, right? So if a new package came in with the same address that was incorrect, the amount of effort that I put in, it wouldn't come through the system anymore because it would be trained to understand to look for this address and provide the right address for it. So the whole concept was fascinating to me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Data cleansing driving results. The cleaner I can get this data, the better that this will all perform. And that started me on my journey on to analytics and data and cleansing and putting in the effort up front to get the results later on.
Right. I can totally, relate to it coming from a finance background. But talking about obviously data cleansing, I see a thing that comes up are the challenges. So, what are some of the relatable challenges that you see in the data analytics field today?
Well, one of the biggest ones really is how clean is your data? What is the data that you're working with?
Right.
Do you trust where your data is coming from? Are there multiple departments using multiple data sources to pull the same values and KPIs?
Mhm.
Right? You have the marketing department pulling their sales info from one data source, and customer service pulling sales info from another data source. Do they match? Why are they pulling it from two different sources? And it really becomes, well, that's the way we've always done it. And to break that habit is really one of the biggest challenges. You got to break well, that's the way we've always done it. Well, that doesn't mean that it's the right way. So it's having that understanding, right? And recognizing that right now, one of the biggest challenges to go along with that is the emergence of data governance and how that is really taking a foothold, right? And the challenge of data governance is that there's such a significant amount of upfront effort that needs to be done in order for the benefits to begin to be seen. This is why we see a lot of data governance projects, they fizzle before they have the time to shine. You have to put so much front end work into it that you're not seeing results right away, right? And so you get to this point where you have this solid data prep and data cleansing program. All right, we've taken care of that challenge. You've created this fully documented data catalog and data dictionary, taking care of that. You have a mature classification efforts and understanding, taking care of that. But and then you've got all that in hand. But the last part is the biggest part, is you need to have a community, your analyst community, that understands and uses everything that has been done to this point and takes it. So you have to kick out that, well, this is how we've always done it, and replace it with, here is the structure and the framework that is going to bring us greater success with the use of our data. And if that isn't adopted by your analyst community, then all the effort that you've put forth to get to that point has been wasted, really. So it becomes this marketing effort by your governance team, by your team putting this all together to get it out there and spread the reasoning and the why behind it, so that it's adopted and put into use.
Mm-hmm. Very true. And we see Scott Taylor mentioning, do you trust your data? Sounds like you need to determine the truth in your data before you start to derive meaning. So true.
Yeah, so true.
Exactly. So when we talk about obviously challenges, but what according to you are the most important skill sets that an analyst should have today?
Well, you have the generalized hard skills. You have to come with some sort of background, whether it's SQL, Excel, just to get you in. But honestly, one of the most important is to be curious. Honestly, you have to have that innate curiosity that'll help drive the continued question of, well, why is this? Why am I seeing this? What is the cause for this? Is this correct? And not just take everything at face value. You have to be curious about the data that you're working with, and not be afraid to pull that thread when something stands out. When you go through and run through a bunch of data and create some reports, and there's something sticking out, you can't just say, I'll take this and hand it to the end user and leave it for them. You need to have that curiosity and that drive, so that you pull the thread and figure out what else is there, what's behind all of this. And if you have that, then that'll get you where you need to go.
Very true. And a very quick one from Scott again, as a marketing effort for your data governance team. Excellent point, Noah. In fact, I wrote a whole book about that topic. Oh yes, he did in it's one of the amazing books that I can surely suggest for all the audience here. So thanks for that book, Scott, and thanks for mentioning it here. Okay, moving forward, what according to you are the analytic tools and platform do you find that are popular with your clients, and why do they prefer that?
Yeah, it's got to be easy buy-in. It's got to
Mhm.
have a short learning curve. And let me remind you and the audience, this isn't for a specific, a single user, right? We're talking
Mhm.
about something, a platform or a tool that an entire department or an entire community throughout multiple
Right.
departments will be able to take on and utilize, right? So you're not taking an individual user or two users and have the ability to walk them through one-on-one training for something significantly complex and
Right.
whatnot. You need to take a step back and say, what tools can we bring in that really will be adopted and utilized across the board? And
Right.
and so it's a short learning curve. You want easy buy-in. You want a wide-ranging use across your departments.
Mhm.
Low barriers to entry. Really, what we found is it's within that low or no code programming in an
Mhm.
APA program. And for us, we usually land on uh, Alteryx or Tableau.
Right.
We can get a team of analysts up and running in a day, creating solutions and reducing processing time,
Mhm.
sometimes up to 95%. And it's these quick wins for these new users to break them from this is how I've always done it,
Mhm.
to holy cow, I can't believe what I've just accomplished.
Right.
And it's these quick wins for these new users that becomes addicting, and the excitement uh, begins to grow and snowball, right? So this first step where you start to see the transformation of, oh, I'm an analyst, oh, I'm just an analyst, to I'm an analyst,
Mhm.
right? Like, oh, I'm doing some killer stuff. And then they want to start to move on to the next problem and the next and so on, because they're able to get these quick wins, and
Right.
they're able to take some of their current processes and solve them, and think, wow, this used to take me an hour once a week, and now it's a push of a button, and it's a minute.
Right.
And when I see these analysts get these wins, I tell them, okay, be a little selfish, right? And
Mhm.
enjoy the fact that this heavy burden has been lifted off of you.
Right.
But then take it a step further, and then this is that next step where you begin to see, all right, who out of your community, out of your analyst community, naturally takes it to this next step of, what else can I do with this data? What else can I do with these results?
Right.
Well, what if I did some additional cleansing or some additional processing? What other information can I pull from this, and will my customer be able to utilize this additional information, or to go to the customer and say, hey, I always give you this, but have you ever looked at or thought about understanding what this measurement could do for your department? Right?
Exactly.
It's enhancing, it's dragging along the conversation. It's making your end user think a little bit. It's getting out of that habit of, well, this is just the way we've always done it, and
Mm.
and that's just key. It's breaking that. It's breaking that. This is the way we've always done it, and these are the types of tools that are able to start analysts on that path.
Right. Very true. And quick question for our audience: how would you suggest them to, obviously, uh, in terms of like how would you suggest them? I'm just trying to frame the question for the audience actually here. So yeah, how would you? What would actually help them to spend less time on data preparation? So yeah, that would be interesting to hear from you.
Right. So, you can come at this from a number of different directions, and really the I found that the length of time is most significant when you're trying to join a number of disparate data sources, and they're
Mm-hmm.
coming from all sorts of different sources and locations. And in the past, it may have been a manual effort, or perhaps you can combine a couple of them, but really it was you're cutting and pasting, or dragging in, and you need to if you could solve for that, be able to join a number of all your data sources in one fell swoop. You're cutting out the manual process at that point, right?
Right.
You want to add. You also want to think about adding automation. How can I automate the process of my prep, of my data, of my cleansing? Does the data come in the same way every week or every day? What can I do to get ahead of that? What repeatable processes can I combine together? So we take the three processes that are doing basically the same thing. Can I combine that into one?
Mm.
And
Very
and
interesting.
yeah, yeah. And then really it's getting your understanding of your metadata, uh, and getting understanding of your data in general, so that you're sort of speaking that language, and you're able to see, as you look through the data, all right, where are some other places that I can enhance what I'm seeing,
Mhm.
and make the downstream impacts more impactful. Right?
Right. Very true. So, okay, moving on. We do have a few questions in the from the audience. Definitely picking that up. But quick reminder to everyone joining in: we are giving away annual subscription for 365 Data Science. So please feel free to put in hashtag 365 Data Science, and we'll do the raffle by end of the show. All right. Okay. There are a few questions. One question comes from Kalyan here. Industrial data analytics evolutions face both technical barriers and expectation gaps. So overcoming both challenges requires a shift in how such evolutions are framed. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, that's a great question. So,
Yeah.
I've found if there is a technical barrier, sometimes you have to take it off the side of your desk. And if you're getting headwinds, and that there are opportunities with certain tools or certain methods, and the approvals aren't there to be able to get the tools that are needed. uh, I've been a fan of being a renegade in that I'll go out and figure out the solution to be able to address those concerns, address
Mhm.
them, and then come with the end results to present, right? And then sort of do what needs to be done, ask for forgiveness, but show that, listen, this is the path that needs to be taken. This is how we can get there. I understand there is some hesitancy, but this is the only way we're going to get to where we need to go, uh,
Mhm.
if this is the end goal,
Very
right?
true. That definitely answers for Kalyan there. Thanks for that, Noah. Okay, Suzanne is here. She's asking if we are talking about dirty data. So yes, definitely we are talking about dirty data as well. Thanks for joining, Suzanne. Quick question from Bharat Raghunath here. After automating some of these analytics and data preparation workflows, what are what are the challenges you still face in the analytics lifecycle?
It's really so at this point you're dealing with clean data. You're operating at a little bit faster pace,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's a switch to, all right, do I have the tools that I need to accomplish the goals that we have set forth, and do I have the resources? So resources not just being tools, but the talent as well. So do we have the players in place? Do we have these analytical all-stars that's able to take the data and really run with it and break through that barrier of, well, even though we have clean data, this is how we've always processed it in the past, and these are the results that just have been requested in the past, and it becomes this additional set of training, and as a leader, so it's not just training, but it's really the ability to keep an eye out for who these rising stars are, who these all stars are, and be able to nurture those talents.
Right, exactly. So that definitely answers for Bharat. Okay, moving on. Quickly shifting gears a bit here. I know you are a champion of Citizen Data Scientist, which is the CDS. Can you share with the audience what a Citizen Data Scientist is and what one does? Eager to learn more about it because I know really you are a champion there, Noah.
Yeah. So this is where I've come to land. I really enjoy this discovery and introduction to this community. For your listeners, the citizen data scientist is really that area between analyst and data scientist, right? Customers or companies would really love to fill this space with data scientists, but there's this high demand with the role and the responsibilities that are required to make it a challenge to fill. If we go back to the restaurant analogy, we have the prep cooks and we have the head cook, and a restaurant would love to hire head cooks to do more prep work and maybe start working a service, but they're very expensive. So, and they're few and far between. So the best way to approach it is really to hire within. And so when we're seeing more and more companies push to become data driven, it's almost table stakes at this point. We have this known shortage of data scientists, and companies start to look inward to really upskill and promote from their analyst teams and within their business domain experts ranks. I've seen plenty of conversations, and I'm sure that your audience has as well, regarding data scientists. They get into a position with a company, and they find themselves spending most of their time data cleansing, data prep, and very little time actually getting their hands dirty, like what their love and what they study for and what they work so hard for. And there's this sort of fever of frustration among the data scientist community, not actually knowing what their position will entail, right? When they're hired by perhaps a CIO, you have these ideas of grandeur that are being discussed. Oh, we're going to bring in AI and ML and really take this company forward. And it's replaced by these realities that of a company that's not ready to fully support a data scientist role. You can't just bring them on and be ready to go, right? So the citizen data scientists, if you're looking for them within a company, they may have a role of they're within the analyst family, right? The business analyst, data analyst. They could be a informatics analyst or business consultant, right? They're in all the lines of business, and like I said, their skill sets, SQL, Excel. They have some data visualization tools, perhaps statistics, right? They're all within that realm. But what makes them really stand out is they're the all stars of their department, right? They're the natural leader that has floated to the top within the analyst of their department, marketing or finance, and the analysts are looking up to them, and they become this sort of natural leader of this drive and curiosity, right? So you have the citizen data scientists, and they can be trained using some of the technologies. They're able to handle routine analytical tasks, where your data scientists, they bring on those additional skills that really allow them to tackle challenging analytical projects.
Right. Okay. Now a quick question from Kate Fashmi here. What are some steps you recommend people take when trying to become a citizen data scientist?
You have to feed that drive. You really need to feed the internal drive, and put in the extra work for yourself. It's looking at everything that you do and ask the question, what else can I add to this? What else can I provide that will enhance this? Is the person receiving this information or this report, can they benefit from, hey, have you looked at it this way? Or what about having a clearer understanding of this metric or of this metric? It's using your business knowledge to drive that conversation with your customer, and then being able to take a step back and see, where are there some deficiencies within my company? Is there a data scientist on staff? If there is, all right, form a relationship and start to ask questions, build a mentorship program, so that you can have an understanding of what their needs are, and what their challenges are, and how you can step up to assist in that. It's not one or the other. It's this symbiotic relationship between the citizen data scientist and the actual data scientist to really get the most out of your program.
Makes sense. And Noah, talking about citizen data scientist, what are the common difficulties you see that are obviously underlying for citizen data scientists?
Common difficulties, it's guardrails, it's structure, it's mentorship. This is so important. You can't just say, oh, we're gonna build out our analyst team and have them run our data science program. That's not it. That's not going to work. You're really taking a huge risk as a company if you do that. You're providing the keys to folks who don't necessarily have all the knowledge to make it worthwhile, and
Right.
there are some risks. So if you can make sure that you set up your guardrails, set up some structure, set up some policy and standards that are in place that not only your data community can follow, but it's there to build on.
Right.
You know, that's what needs to be in place.
Very
So,
true.
you know, you wouldn't replace a head chef with a prep cook. They'd be able to get in there and put some food out, but it's not going to be this elevated dish that you're expecting when you come to this restaurant. You know, it's you really, they work best in tandem with one another, and having a data scientist available to guide the analysts in this community.
Right. Okay. That is very interesting answer, Noah. We had an interesting question that I might have missed, but would love to take it up since it's regarding finance and that intersection of analytics. So, how is finance intersecting with analytics, Noah?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, there's you can ask that, how is logistics intersecting with it? How is, you know, everything intersects with analytics and data, because there's data for everything. You
Right.
know, with finance in particular, it's whether you're looking at sales of products, whether you're trying to understand trends, you're trying to predict outcomes and what's coming up next, what things to avoid. Are you offering products that are successful? Are you offering products to the right customer base? What sort of research can be done and analysis on your customers of who bought what products in the past?
Right.
So if you're creating products in the finance world, you're looking back at what's been utilized in the past, what's been purchased, how did those sales goes, what are the dynamics of who made those purchases, and how can we use that information to drive the decisions that we're going to make when we create a new product.
Very true. And that definitely answers for Aditi, and a very nice question. Okay, quickly taking another question from George Faken here. Is there a particular data prep challenge that you have tackled and it's no longer a challenge now? Interesting.
You know, where I've seen that come up a few times is really when you're dealing with legacy systems with a company, and that they were built to not thinking ahead, that their data is going to be used in a meaningful way. And so you're working with this legacy system that could be 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, and trying to pull out the data. You go through all of these measures to set up a cleaning process and a cleansing and a setup and a documentation for this data, and then the company brings in a new system to replace it, and it does all of that for you. So while it's exciting to perhaps have a new source of data that does all the work for you, you hope that the work that you put into it sort of drives how you are utilizing the data from the new program.
Right. Definitely makes a lot of sense. Okay. That answers for George. We have another questions. We have a few questions which we have obviously will be taking. But okay, to move forward, since obviously I wanted to know more about Datalytics, where you are a director. So can you tell us more about it? What do you do, and what does Datalytics help? And how are you serving your clients?
Sure. So Datalytics, we provide powerful data analytics, automation solutions. We solve complex problems. We elevate business outcomes.
Mhm.
Really, what we generally focus on is upskilling the workforce performance.
Right.
Right. So we can come in, we can look at the audience, we can look at the workforce, we can get an understanding of skill set, what's needed, and then start placing what's going to be the best help. Right. So we go back to what we were talking about earlier and saying, all right, what are the tools that can have the greatest impact in the shortest amount of time and provide the greatest return for this company?
Right.
And then implement them, walk them through some hands-on training, and get them started, get them excited. It's really the surprise when we come in and we have this energy and excitement about data, and it really starts to break and crumble that, well, I'm just an analyst, and this is what I do, and I spend most of my time pulling data and getting it ready, and really once I'm done with that, I don't want to deal with it anymore, and so it's hot potato. Just get it out. Here you go, and then I'm on to the next. And it's this drudgery that is being experienced in the analyst community that we like to come in and really break that down
Mhm.
and provide the understanding that it could be so much more. And so once you're able to get your team, once you're able to get your analyst team excited and show that there is so much more, then we're able to come in and say, okay, now that we've elevated everybody, now that we've gained an understanding of the data and how you're utilizing it, and provided some tools to upskill everyone, what
Right.
else can we do? Oh, have you thought about pulling in some machine learning to address this concern? Or you do a lot with addresses. Can we talk about some spatial tools that'll really enhance the address usage at your company, right? And so it's not about coming in from the top and throwing in the highest level. It's really building this foundation of use and making sure that everyone within the company has this understanding of the joy of working with data, and then building on that, and and
Right.
and really providing a company with the tools and skills needed to excel.
Amazing. That is superb. Okay, I would now want to take questions from the audience as well. So here's a quick question from Manisha. What do you think is the best approach to get into analytics?
Best approach, just start with one area in one department. If you're currently working at a company, is there a department that you are familiar with, that you have the business knowledge, right?
Mhm.
Having the business knowledge can easily help you transition to becoming an analyst as you're working through that.
Right.
You may not have the understanding of the data and the components, but all right, you bring to the table the business knowledge, to be able to transfer that once you start learning about the data that's behind it. And so that to me would be the easiest way, is to really learn about the business, learn about the department. If you're already in there, perhaps you're working customer service, but you have full knowledge of products and marketing. Well, then you can easily slide over into a marketing analyst position to get more in-depth knowledge of the products that you're on the phones about, and just build on that from there.
Amazing. And Suzanne says it's a great tip, definitely, Noah. Completely agree with you there. Okay. Since we are talking about, we were talking about Datalytics, Bharat had a question that did the name come up from the Datalytics is equal to data plus analytics? Was that the story behind the name, Datalytics?
That's the one we're sticking to it.
Amazing, fantastic. Uh, okay, quickly taking another question from Mike Nash here. Hi, Mike. Thanks for joining. Do many of your clients step forward from analysis to predictive AI? And does this require a different approach handling?
It does. So many of them do, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's driven from within the company.
Right.
Right? They would come to us with goals. We want to be able to accomplish this. Here's our long-term goals with our company and with the data that we're using, and we want to be able to accomplish this. And perhaps they have the talent on site, but they just need the guidance. And so we can come in and be able to walk them through, okay, this is where you are, this is where you want to get to, and here's the path to get to that point, and let's break it down into manageable steps. And so let's accomplish one step at a time to get to that point where you could be self-functioning and attain these goals. Then there's the other side of it where they have no idea. And so they have just general analysis and reporting, and so they're backwards looking. They're using the data to just have an understanding of where they've been, but they haven't even thought about forward looking and prescriptive and anything past that. They're at the young. They have a young data maturity for their company, and so for these situations, we would come in and paint them the picture of where they are today, and here are some possibilities of where you can go, and how we can help you get there. And so that's providing some solutioning for them, and creating some models and implementing some models to show that, with this data, with what you can provide now, this is where we can get you in 6 months or a year. These are some of the long-term goals. And again, refer back to that. Here are the steps that'll get us to that point. So it's not just a black box of, these high-powered words. It's really laying it out, and in a way that each company can understand it, no matter their level of maturity.
Right. Very true. And that definitely answers for Mike there. Okay, we have Christine who has an interesting question, Noah. There's a term in psychology called organizational citizenship behavior used to describe all positive and constructive behaviors that are not a part of the job description. I think it is similar to your term citizen data scientist. Two citizen data scientists have more to do than their assigned tasks. Interesting.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's not that they have more to do than their assigned tasks. You need to remember that you're not going to find a degree program for a citizen data scientist. You're not going to find, at least that I'm unaware of right now, and you're not going to find perhaps someone labeling it in a job title, but it's really another term for just a data analyst who is at the highest level, an analyst who just exudes all-star, a data analyst or a person who is innately curious, who asks the extra questions, who looks around at their teammates and makes sure that they have a full understanding of what they're working on. They take it upon themselves to become a mentor to their teammates. So there's there's yes, it's addition to what their job role may be.
Yeah.
But if you find someone where this comes naturally, and they become this natural leader and mentor, and they want everyone to rise with them,
Hmm.
that's the trait that you're looking for.
Exactly. And I think that's definitely a fantastic approach, Noah, in terms of the citizen data scientist. Mike Nash agrees with me. A great approach. So amazing one there, Noah. Okay, quick question around Datalytics. If folks want to reach out and learn more about Datalytics, which is the best place, Noah? Where can they reach out to you or the team?
Sure. So you can reach me either through the Datalytics website.
Yeah,
My email is noah.sassaman at Datalytics Global.
yeah.
You can also reach out to me via LinkedIn, and we'll be happy to walk through any additional questions or items that you may have.
Yes, definitely, Noah. And I didn't forget. Obviously, you wanted to share a PDF for with our audience. Happy to you can go ahead and share. By the time I just remind folks that we are giving away 365 Data Science annual subscription. Feel free to comment 365 Data Science in the comment section, and we will be announcing the winners by end of the show after Noah comes up with his. PDF and explains you some great stuff.
It's really I was going to have this up a little bit earlier, but it's a good description of what some traits of a citizen data scientist would be, right?
Wow.
And we've touched upon this throughout our
Yeah.
conversation today. And you want someone who is proven themselves with analytical techniques to business problems,
Hmm.
they are they have an understanding of business priorities. They have the experience of the different connections throughout the company, so that they can get some things done, and have an understanding of business value. Really, it's this total package, right? It's this analyst all-star who is well-rounded, and has this full understanding of what's needed to just bring you a step closer to
Hmm.
the roles or the needs of a data scientist, so that if there's a data scientist on board, they really aren't burdened with so much, and they can focus on the aspects of what they were hired for, right? So I found this to be a great little reference here.
Hmm. This is amazing. Thanks for sharing that, Noah. Oh, okay, quick question and the last question for sure uh, was from Deb Chase. What tools do you recommend for analytics over and above Excel, SAS, etc.?
Um, Really, the ones that we've utilized the most, with the biggest uh, the biggest adoption and most success, has been Alteryx, uh, the automated platform, and Tableau.
Hmm.
But Alteryx, we found, is just it's easily adaptable. The learning curve is so short, and you place it within a company, and not only do your entry level analysts can jump in and utilize it, but the entire skill set, right? Your quants, your data scientists. There's tools all up and down the spectrum, and uses for it, so that as you get your entire analytical community utilizing this tool, you're breaking down the silos between all the different departments, because they start utilizing Alteryx as a Rosetta Stone, so to speak, and they say, oh, I started working on this and use these tools. And then other departments have that understanding. Oh, I know what this tool is. I know what this tool is. So it brings these teams of different talents together all through this single tool. And
Right.
we've seen so many benefits from that to build the analyst community.
Amazing, great stuff, Noah. Definitely, it's time for us to announce the winners now for our raffle. So we have good 18 entries for those joining in. The person who wins obviously is getting an annual subscription of 365 Data Science, and here we go. Let's see who the winner is, and the winner is Shashank, congratulations, and you win an annual subscription. So thank you very much for participating, everyone. And Noah, thank you very much for joining us today. It was fantastic talking to you. So much to learn about citizen data scientists, so much to learn about analytics, and much more from you, and your background in finance and then analytics is a pleasure to hear. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks, Ravit. It was a pleasure.
Amazing. Thank you everyone for joining in and asking amazing questions.